Yo guys, what's going on? I'm Tim for The Real Sports Talk along with KJ. You can hit me up on Twitter at CashKelly_TRST. You can also like The Real Sports Talk on Facebook at The Real Sports Talk. Go do both of those. Tomorrow, and by the time you're watching this video, probably today, the Sixers and Chicago Bulls get underway. This was a series throughout the entire season when these two teams played. That was very close. A lot of these games, the Bulls did not have D Rose. It's important to keep that in mind. And the Sixers played very well against them. A lot of times, and I mean this was their issue a lot of times against other teams, is that they were not able to shut down D Rose. The Sixers just did not have that guy that could shut down the superstar. As good as Andre Iguodala is on defense, they had trouble slowing down D Rose in that Sunday night game. And what they also don't have is that guy that can finish. And that's why, if this game was played halfway through the season, I think that this would be a 7-game series. But the way that the Sixers absolutely struggled down the stretch, the way that we don't even know, Evan Turner goes from roll to roll. One night he'll drop 30 and 12, and then the next night he'll play 10 minutes in the game. And they've had a tough time getting continuity with this team. There's a lot of things that need to be changed in the offseason. Andre Iguodala is most likely going to be traded so that Evan Turner can finally get some work. And there's a lot of questions at the point guard position. Lou Williams is an impending free agent if he does not exercise his option, which he's not going to. Spencer Hawes is an impending free agent. And while the Bulls do have a lot of questions with D Rose's health, I just think that the way that the Sixers struggled down the stretch, the Sixers will give a fight, but the Bulls have a ton of depth throughout that team with guys like Rip Hamilton, Taj Gibson, Joakim Noah, how can I forget, Brian Scalabrine. But in reality, though, they do have a ton of depth, and I'm missing a few people, and it's bothering me who I am missing. But the Bulls do have a very nice bench. Luol Deng is one of the most underrated guys in the game right now. People do not understand how good he is. Carlos Boozer isn't what he used to be, but he's still a pretty good player. And overall, I think that the Bulls have enough to get through this first series, and I think that they do it in 6 games. I think they'll win the first 2 in Chicago. I think the Sixers, and I mean, I'm a Sixers fan if you guys don't know that, but in all honesty, you can say that I'm not a real fan or whatever, but I'm not going to come on here and really think that the Sixers are going to beat the Bulls. That doesn't mean that the time 1 o'clock comes around tomorrow, if you're following me on Twitter, that doesn't mean at that time I won't be saying, oh, the Bulls suck, everything. The bottom line is I see the Bulls winning this series in 6.
Yeah, I think some of the guys you were talking about were like Ronnie Brewer and John Lucas and those other bench players for the Bulls that have, done well this season, especially with Derrick Rose not being able to play the majority of the season. But I'm going to have to disagree with you, Tim. I know this sounds weird. I know that they're going in really cold into the playoffs, the Sixers, and really they've only won a couple games at the end of the season. They're lucky to even be in the playoffs because people were talking about them maybe winning the division, and then it went all the way to if they're even going to be in the playoffs. And a lot of fans really don't even want them in the playoffs. They wanted to get that lottery pick. But I see Philly getting this 1 in 6, and I know everyone's looking at me like crazy. I mean, Derrick Rose and his Bulls are gonna trample on the Sixers, who haven't been able to contend very well. They almost got swept last year by the Miami Heat, which is the same caliber team as the Bulls. But I see it all with different eyes. I think guys like Lou Williams and Drew Holiday are gonna pick it up. I think they're great guards, and they're gonna be able to contest with Derrick Rose, especially with the fact that he hasn't been on the court all season, basically. He's had injury after injury. There's 5 different things, I believe, as a total that he had wrong with him this season, which that doesn't explain the player that he is, but I just think it's going to really slow him down. I just don't see him being the same Derrick Rose that he's been in the playoffs the last couple of seasons. And I just think that although that the Bulls have the depth, Philly has the depth too. And when they have Lou Williams coming off the bench and guys like that, and Spencer Hall, he's a pretty good low guy. And I mean, Elton Brand's nothing special, but Drew Holiday's pretty good, and Evan Turner, he's pretty good. It's a sparky team. It's hard to put in the words because they're so balanced. They don't have any stars on their team. They're not a team that you look at, and they're kind of like Memphis almost, except I mean Memphis has a guy like Rudy Gay. But they're really similar, except they don't have 2 down-low presences like Memphis does. But I see them really winning this in 6. I think Carlos Boozer has never been a good playoff guy. Even though he's been a great player for his career, he's never been a good playoff guy. Even in Utah, he was an average playoff guy. I mean, Dan Rollins much has not carried them in the playoffs. But, and Joakim Noah, he always gets his own, he always does well, but I don't think he's going to do anything special. I mean, he might get 10 boards and 10 points, but that's a playoff game that matters more about basically who's going to score more in this game. There's two great defenses. It's going to be lower scoring, but I think it's going to be a fun game. It's going to be a different game. It's going to be, they're kind of different teams, but they're defense-first teams almost, except Chicago is more offense to them, but I think the Sixers can really hold them down with that. I don't know, it's hard to explain. I mean, Iguodala is a good defender, and, they couldn't stop the Bulls over the course of the last few years, especially with what you said, Tim. But I really see the Sixers winning this in 6. I really see them as being a good series. But I think they're going to steal a couple away, and that's going to be the key, because as long as they can win at home, they have a shot. But I think if they can steal 2 games in Chicago Bulls Arena, where they play out in Chicago, that they can really win the series. They really have a shot.
Yeah, and let me say this. KJ isn't even a Sixers fan. I'm a Sixers fan. KJ is not a Sixers fan. So for him to say that, it's not him as a huge Sixers fan or anything like that. The important thing that what the Sixers are going to have to do is Derrick Rose is going to get between 20 and 25 points if he's out there for a decent amount of time. And if they can hold them to that and then shut down the rest of the team, then that is how they're going to win these games. If Derrick Rose is out there dropping 35, their chances of winning are about 0, because scoring-wise, they're not going to be able to keep up with that. The Bulls they're going to have to hold the Bulls under 90 points in all likelihood if they're going to win a lot of games in these series. And I just don't see that. They don't even know who their starting center is going to be for a lot of the series. There's Spencer Hawes, there's Lavoy Allen, Doug Collins said he's not going to start, Nick Vucevic. So there's just too many questions. The Sixers have some nice pieces to potentially work with for the future. They need a star. They need a few more nice draft picks, and you know that those are very hard to come by, especially in the middle rounds of the first round at this point. So they're kind of in purgatory right now, and I see the Bulls winning this series in 6. You can find us on Twitter at CashKelly_TRC. Like The Real Sports Talk on Facebook. Share this video with everyone. And continue to check out all the NBA playoff coverage here on the Real Sports Talk Network.